Well, hello and welcome everybody to the New Health Conversation. For the censors, I want to make sure again that we emphasize we stay within the community guidelines. And the reason that we do that, everything that we're stating is in the public domain. So everybody gets a chance to see it. We don't make claims. Anything that we're talking about has been proven and backed by medical proof. We're the only people we can find on all of social media that do that. You have people out there making claims. We don't do that. Anything that we say is backed by medical science. If we talk about weight loss, then we have something to back it up medically. It's not an opinion. We don't give out opinions. We only give out facts. And people have been able to rely on us for the truth. We've written 4 best-selling books with some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. We've done 20 shows on public broadcasting, 1,500 live lectures around the world, and appeared on 4 of the biggest daytime shows in America. So nothing that we're stating is not original content. It shouldn't be controversial for any of you because it's all coming from these medical studies. We have nothing to sell on our website, okay? Well, hello, everybody. So who's on here? Truth Above. Let's see. Jen, join from your post. Ahishma and Nina. Hello, everybody. Now, what we're going to talk about today is how in the world did she do that? It's not a diet. It's not about counting calories, and there was no exercise involved. Now, I know that right away that sounds crazy. This was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. It took them over 40 years to figure out a completely new system. It's a system. There's no products involved here. This is only food. I shouldn't say only food. It's food partly from the United States, about 30% of what you would consume, and the other 70% comes from exotic foods from around the world, from places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, in the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand. Now, why is that important? Because those regions have foods with huge amounts of nutrition or nutrients that don't even exist in North America. In some areas, what are called the blue zones, they come from areas where people live in to be more than 100 years old. This is revolutionary. It's going to make every diet you've been on completely obsolete. So 2 questions I would ask right away. 1, does anyone know what the definition of a calorie actually is? You're all counting calories. You're on diets. It's calories in, calories out. We're going to totally debunk that. Not us, but the medical research. See, the thing that's so unique about what we do, we only come from medical proof. We don't give you opinions. We don't make claims. Everything we're saying we can back up. As a matter of fact, right there above her head in blue, you'll see the New Health Conversation. The only thing on that website is medical proof. If you go there, we won't contact you. There's nothing for sale there. We don't have anything to sell. But we're there to, you'll notice also, you can get free coaching. That's not a joke. There's no cost for coaching. It's totally free. We got coached. This is going to change the world. This will make every diet out there obsolete. I know that sounds like a strong statement, but if you go there and look at the medical proof or listen to what I'm about to share with you, that this is live. This is not pre-recorded. This is not an infomercial. This is a medical podcast where we're only going to share with you the truth. Now, you may not like the truth because it's going to probably upset your apple cart as far as what you've been doing in order to lose weight. But we have the 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies backing up everything we're talking about. She really did lose 21 pounds and 38 inches in a month. And by the way, she and everybody else I'm going to show you was not allowed to exercise. They actually were Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. It is not a diet. It's not about counting calories. That's taboo out the window now. Now, that may spin some of you out of control who've been so convinced that the way to lose weight is, you're weighing your food but you're counting calories. That's really what you're doing. That just is not going to work anymore, and it doesn't work. And I'll tell you why. Here's Johns Hopkins Medical School. Now, keep in mind, again, for all the censors, we're reading from the medical study. This is in the public domain. Anybody can go look it up. It's not a claim. We're reading what's already in the public record. Our study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. This is Johns Hopkins Medical School. They say that by 2030, 86% of Americans will be overweight or obese. And by 2048, all American adults will become overweight or obese by 2048. Does that sound to you like diets are working? We're going to show you a lot more evidence today about why conventional diets, counting calories, calories in, calories out, is completely obsolete, including from Harvard Medical School. So I want you all to pay attention. You don't have to, but you may want to pay attention and find out that 2/3 of you, whatever diet you're on, according to all the research, you're going to weigh more than what you did when you started. Now, that may make you mad, it may make you upset, but it's a medical reality. Because believe it or not, traditional diets by counting calories, according to the research, again, not our opinions, is actually making you unhealthy. And up to 25 or 40% of what you're losing on any of these diets is not fat, it's lean muscle mass. When people tell you you're burning fat through exercise or through diet, it's not true. You're born with a certain number of fat cells, you die with a certain number of fat cells, and in between those fat cells can expand or contract. We're going to go over all that with you. But I know you're all anxious to find out how in the world did she do? What is this? Okay, let's do it. So the researchers who invented this had done 40 years, 100 studies of every diet out there, pretty much. So they didn't invent any diets, but they were the researchers who showed what these diets would do, right? And so they had several conclusions over 100 studies over 40 years, and that was one. Didn't matter what the diet was, people lost weight. So yay, that sounds good. It's not really, because they found that 2/3 of everyone who went on any diet, whether it was paleo, keto, Mediterranean, it didn't matter, people lost 25 to 40% of what they were losing was lean muscle mass. Got that? The other part of this was the fact that by losing lean muscle mass, people also slowed down their metabolism, and most importantly, slowed down their own immune system. So the very diet that you're on is literally making you unhealthy. I mean, that's just the medical proof. You can believe whatever you want to believe. You can believe whatever person you think you're following, or they're giving you advice, or it's your trainer, or it's your dietitian, or whoever it is. But none of them have one shred of medical evidence that would back up what I'm saying. Diets by counting calories, the traditional diets out there, do not work long term. That's what they proved. So they said, we need to do something different. So what could they do different? Well, they invited the world's first nutritional system. So it was based on three principal factors: nutrition, a new way of consuming food, and the outcome was health. That's what they were shooting for. It wasn't just about fitting in your skinny jeans. It was, can we make people healthier by a completely new approach? So interestingly enough, they selected only 30% of the food that she consumed, or you would consume, would come from your grocery store, organic foods, okay? Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving her or you calorie counting, they gave them serving sizes, because the researchers were calculating the amount of nutrition that you needed. Let me back up for just a moment. We'll come back to that in a second. What happens to you on diets is, well, first of all, your body does not run on calories. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. I'd love for anybody to put in the chat the definition of a calorie, if any of you know what a calorie is. I didn't 24 years ago, so don't feel bad. We'll come back to that in a moment. Your body runs on, obviously it needs water and it needs air, but there's a third thing that needs for us to be alive and to thrive. And that is a minimum amount, not of calories, everyone, of nutrition. When you go on a diet, what are you really doing? You're lowering the amount of food you're consuming, and at the same time, what are you lowering? Nutrition. When the brain figures out, this is what the researchers figured out. Once the brain says there's not enough nutrition, fuel to run your brain, your heart, your kidney, your liver, makes sense. What does it do? It goes in starvation mode, and it immediately stops you from accessing the fuel inside your fat cell and turns to your muscles for fuel. It's not up for debate, everybody. That's what's going on. And it results in 25 to 40% of whatever pounds you're losing turns out to be your lean muscle mass. That does two of the most unhealthy things to you. One, it slows down your metabolism. And that metabolism slowdown continues even after you stop the diet. That's why you gain everything back, because you can't process as much fuel. That's basically what happens, right? But the other thing it's doing to you, when you lose lean muscle, which you do on every single diet, you also slow down what? Your immune system. The reason these diets can't possibly work is when you lose lean muscle, it's not like you come off the diet and you gain all your lean muscle mass. As a matter of fact, 90% of the weight that you're putting back on is literally water weight inside your fat cells. You don't add fat cells, but they can expand, right? And you know that all of you complain to us. It's not just about how much weight you've gained, it's the amount of fat you have in your body. Am I right? I'd love for someone to put it in the chat. So imagine if you look at her stomach on day 1 and you look at her stomach on day 30, that's with no exercise, no sit-ups, no crunches. So the researchers said, we are going to do something radically different. They selected those foods that were based on nutrition. They were based not on calories. It was based on what they call nutritional density. Make simple. It's as if you could go to the gas station today and your body ran on gas. It doesn't, but I'm using it as an analogy, so don't get crazy on me. Pump number one says, and that's the typical food, even if it's organic you're eating, pump number one says this gallon will take you 20 miles. Pump number two says this gallon will take you 100 miles. That was the concept that researchers went on. And they picked the foods with the highest amount of nutrition they could find in North America. Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits, not calorie counting. Does everybody understand that? This has nothing to do with counting calories, right? But the real secret was they sought out other researchers, not them, because these researchers have no products to sell. There's no product to buy. It's food. But the other 70% of the food you would purchase or buy or take, however you want to look at it, literally came from other researchers who'd spent 20 years going to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So now they had basically the first part of what they were going to do, which was the nutrition, the food. So then what they did, they invented two new ways of consuming the food. 5 days a week, she and on you and everybody else and me, 4 meals a day, starting with these exotic foods for breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and the fourth meal from these exotic foods around the world. And that process, 5 days a week, is called protein pacing. Listen, everyone, it's patented. The U.S. Patent Office, how could you get a patent on a new way of consuming food? They did. That's how unusual this is, as simple as it may seem. What they had done, well, they figured out it wasn't just about how much nutrition you were going to get. It was when you got it, over what period of time, and what was the spacing between breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the fourth meal in the day. That's why it was called protein pacing. So you got that 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. It had 4 meals, very important. Not 3, not 2, not 1, 4, okay? 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent. Now, this will spin all of your control. Don't hear the word fasting and think it's fasting, because it's not. Intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods from around the world. But this time, she was eating them 8 times a day. She was eating literally an hour and a half. Again, the pacing really mattered. We got people who weigh 400 or 500 pounds. They weren't hungry, because they never were hungry for calories. That's just nonsense. Only thing your body can ever be hungry for is nutrition. That's it. So this whole model that we've all been drummed into our head, calories in, calories out, calorie deficit, total nonsense, total rubbish, just rubbish. So the researchers were blown away by the results. So that's 5 pounds a week. How many of you struggle to lose a pound a week or half a pound a week, period? Plus, that picture's 8 or 9 years old. She's kept the weight off for 8 or 9 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. Look, I know it seems too good to be true, but you all can, right above her head in blue, the New Health Conversation. That's a free medical website. There's nothing to buy there because we don't have any products. But you can go for free, and we won't even contact you, because we don't want you to feel like you're going there. We're going to try, and we don't have time to convince you or sell you. But you can, once you go there, if you like what you see, scroll down and you get a free coach. The coaching's free the entire time. Something else I should tell you. Yes, 30% of the food so whatever you spent last month on food, people ask me all the time, how expensive is it? You're buying food, you need to eat for a month. So 30% of what you spent last month at the grocery store, that's all you're going to spend this month. The other 70% of what you spent last month goes towards these exotic foods around the world. Most people tell me they're spending about what they were last month on their total food bill, maybe at most another $100, maybe. But look at the results, everybody. You're getting massive amounts of nutrition. You realize if you do this, I don't care, unless you're on doctor's orders for a supplement for like calcium or iron maybe, you won't need any supplements. These elements from around the world would equal something like 400 or 500 different kinds of nutrients that come from Russia, China, Mongolia, Tibet, South America. That's what makes it work. It's not about how much food you're getting. It's about how much nutrition you're getting. Hopefully that makes sense. And it's not supplements. It's food. Now the key is maintenance. That's one of the biggest keys. And we teach you that for free. We were taught. But there's something else you need to be aware of, and that is that you and me and everybody have this new medical syndrome. It's called TDOS, What does it stand for? T for toxicity, D for nutritional deficiency, O for being overweight, S is for stress. And you can see my name there. I did discover it, but that's not what's important. What's important that we didn't even know until 2005 that what was happening to all of us, and part of the explosion in the weight loss deal, was we're breathing, drinking, eating chemicals. And as they enter the body, once the liver can't deal with them anymore, the body then takes the chemical and stuffs it in our visceral fat. That's what you're seeing on day one in her picture right there, right above my head. Look at her stomach. She wasn't pregnant. Then 30 days later, she has a flat stomach with no exercise, no sit-ups, no crunch. Not that the researchers are against exercise, don't hear that. But the reason they didn't want them to exercise was that would have been an outlier. Then you'd say, well, they lost weight. Was it the protocol or was it diet and exercise? No one exercised. They wore Fitbits. Now, if you want to exercise, of course, you can exercise, and the results probably be even more spectacular. But how excited would any of you be if you could lose 20 pounds in a month? Put it in the chat. Let me know that you think this is unbelievable. And it's okay if you're skeptical. But you've got to understand that you can't, when you're talking about peer-reviewed human trial studies, the skepticism's gone. Why? Because it's already been reviewed by the top medical doctors and researchers in the world who have one job. Most of you probably don't know this. The job of the peer review is to discredit what the researchers are claiming. That's why, for example, no drug ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed human trial study. Does this make sense to everybody? Now, I'm going to show you a couple more. Look at Julie here, everybody. How about 35 pounds in 37 days? Look at how much her body changed. That's not Photoshop. As much as you'd like to think it's a hack or no, this is real. This is real. And then I'm going to show you this is my friend's daughter. We're not Photoshopping my friend's daughter. Look at that, 60 pounds in 3 months. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her midsection. Now, you can think it's Photoshopped all day long. It's not. This is real. If you go to the website, the New Health Conversation, there are before and afters there. You'll see them. People lost 100 pounds, no loose skin. What? Yeah. Look, the thing I'm telling you, this is the only medical proof we've ever seen. The other studies, there are other medical studies. They weren't done by the people like the people that invented paleo. They didn't do a peer-reviewed human trial study. Other people did, and the results are pitiful when you compare it to this. Pitiful. I'll prove it to you. Here's, for example, this is a big study done by the Journal of the American Medical Association. Let me come back to Kristen for a minute. Okay, in this study titled Comparison of Weight Loss Among Named Diet Programs in Overweight and Obese Adults. Now, keep in mind, everybody, and the censors, we're reading, this is in the public domain. You all can go see it. It's not a claim. We're reading the medical proof, right? This study was conducted on 48 randomized trials, 7,286 people. Again, this is not our opinion. We're not making a claim. This is in the Journal of the American Medical Association. It was 12 months. And like I said, 48 different studies on 7,286 people. At the end of 12 months, when they saw all these, and they named all the diets right here, zone diet, keto, paleo, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, count your Jenny Craig Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, on and on and on. Do you know the difference in weight loss in 1 year from the most amount of weight loss on any diet to the least amount of weight loss in a year? You know what it was? 10 ounces. 10 ounces. So does that sound? Now, how much weight did they lose in a year? This is unbelievable. They only lost 16 pounds, and 25 to 40% of what they lost was lean muscle mass. She lost 21 pounds in a month and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle. Now, again, before you think we're making things up, you can go look it up. You can look at the actual study itself. But 48 studies, 7,286 people, that should open your eyes a little bit to say, wait a minute. You mean that? Because see, people lose weight initially, but then not only does it stop, but then the weight starts to come back, even though they think they're dieting and they've reduced, because they're counting calories, and your body doesn't count calories. Your body's starving for nutrition. You starve it of nutrition, your body, you'll burn your muscles. That's exactly what's happening. 25 to 40% of the 16 pounds they lost was lean muscle mass. She lost 21 pounds in a month. And when we look at an older guy here like Curtis, 40.8 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days. You know, when you get older, you're not supposed to be able to lose weight. Look at that, everyone. But that's not the best part. Remember, this is about health. Remember, they said, This is a system: nutrition, weight loss, and health. Look at the outcome, his lab work. Look at his A1C, everybody, 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides, 242 to 124 in 30 days. Who else is showing you anything like this? And they don't have any medical proof. They're showing you before and after pictures with nothing behind it other than whatever. We're showing you the medical proof. Come on, everybody. That's 10 pounds a week. And he's overweight, but he doesn't weigh 500 pounds. And look at that. I mean, what do you all think about that? So we got Mervin, we got Joshua, we got Bob Anderson, we got 99 Problems. We have Joshua again. We have SD Casino Wins. Okay, great. We've got thumbs up, and we got. So who would like to ask me a question? Also, I love it. You already tapping and give me likes. Am I making it? Am I explaining it to all of you correctly? Do you understand? Let's review again. Let's go back. This new protocol is called R2M, everybody, race to maintenance. You got that? Race to maintenance. The thing we're the most excited about is, although I've been a nutrition researcher for 23 years and I'm not bragging, I'm just, so you have some background. I wrote 4 best-selling books with some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. I have these books right here in my hand. There's no books for sale, by the way, on the website. No, we didn't do that. There's nothing on that website to buy. Only thing there is, it's like in essence, a weight loss, health, nutrition library, I guess you could say, of medical facts, of the facts behind this. Our job is to educate you. Our job is to make you aware. Our job is to give you a hope that you can really change things around. And unfortunately, all the diets you're on are miserable failures, not because I said so, because of the medical proof that we're about to show you here in the next couple minutes. But before I do that, I want to make sure that any of you that heard what I explained, do you understand? I didn't want to make it too sciencey. It's really simple. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. If you're counting calories, I have no idea why. Again, I'd love for anybody to give me the actual medical definition of a calorie. In a year's time, I've had 8 people that have ever gotten it correct. I didn't know what a calorie was 24 years ago before I became a researcher, so don't feel bad. But this whole mentality around counting calories is insanity. It's insanity. And believe me, I get lots of people on here that want to challenge me, take me on, whatever, because I'm telling you that it's called CICO, calories in, calories out. Reduce calories, you're going to lose weight. Well, let's just start with some of the medical proof to turn that upside down. Here's Harvard Medical School. The title of the study, Stop Counting Calories. This is Harvard Medical School. This isn't Peter Greenlaw telling you not to count calories, and you're going to probably leave this and you're going to go back to counting calories because we're so brainwashed with this, all right? Here's what Harvard said. Most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories 3,500 and you lose a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. They go on to say, the idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. This is a Harvard Medical School, one of the top obesity people in the world, saying, drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to take a different approach by concentrating what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. That's what these researchers did. They have nothing to do with Harvard. I don't know how I can get to all of you in terms of just saying, look, we're not here we don't want to form your opinions. We want to give you the evidence and then you decide. Kind of like, almost like I'm a lawyer, and it's not like that. We're the researchers of the research. We're bringing you the research. We didn't do it, but we're presenting it to you, okay? Now, let's look at a couple more big studies. This one titled, Why You Shouldn't Count Calories. These are major studies saying this, right? Our researchers found that the truth is calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep it off long term. And what's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict calories gain back more weight than they lost. That's where you're headed. 2/3 of you probably don't like what I'm saying. You might not like me. But you got to understand, science doesn't care about any of that. Science just is. It has no prejudice. It doesn't have an agenda. It just is. You either believe in science or you don't. I hope you do, because if you're taking any prescription pill ever in your lifetime, it went through a peer-reviewed human trial study, not an opinion, not a clinical study, not a scientific paper. No, it's done on human beings. They take a long time. They cost a lot of money. And isn't it ironic that nobody that I'm aware of that you're following on social media, because I see a lot of them, I haven't seen one of them with one shred of medical evidence. I'd love to ask anybody, why are you following Harvard saying that counting calories is wrong? Wrong. And then let's read the medical definition of why calorie counting is doomed to failure. This is not my opinion, everybody. This is the medical proof, so don't get mad at me. The biggest failing of the calories in, calories out formula is that it ignores the body adjusts its control system when calorie intake is reduced. So while the formula, calories in, calories out, can support people achieving weight loss initially, the reduction in energy intake ensures the lost weight will be regained and more. They went on to say, namely, when your body registers a sustained decrease in calories you consume, it believes its survival is threatened, so it automatically triggers a series of psychological responses to protect against the threat, reducing our metabolic rate and burning less energy. So they're saying it slows down your metabolism. What? Yeah, of course. And they didn't even go on to say the reason is because they're using your muscles for fuel. It's so tremendously inefficient. I don't know what I need to do to tell you all, wake up, please. What you're doing is nonsense. It's never going to work. I mean, my God, in 1964, 15% of us were overweight and obese. They're now projecting right here, John Hopkins. I read it before. What did I do with it? Here it is. Study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030 in 4.5 years. 86% of Americans will be overweight or obese. By 2048, John Hopkins says, all American adults will become overweight or obese. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? Right? Because, why is it saying my battery's low? Can't be low. Low battery, change the battery now to keep using. No, that's not true, man. Hold on, everybody. I just got to make sure my computer doesn't die here. Oh, that's weird. Anyway, hopefully it won't be a problem. But again, for all of you, why? I mean, I know why. Why are you counting calories? Because that's what every diet is based on, or some form thereof. But what you're not understanding is that's doomed to failure. Now, this is even more conclusive. This is Medicare, everybody, okay? Obviously, they're trying to bring healthcare costs down because obesity, overweight leads to things like high blood pressure. And well, Harvard Medical School said obesity leads to about 40 known diseases, or the triggering mechanism, okay? But listen to what they said in this big study from Medicare. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. They went on to say, our researchers at Medicare reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. Do you get it? What are you doing? I mean, they're literally telling you. You're going to run right into a brick wall. It's right up there. The brick wall is you're going to get to a point where once your brain figures out there's not enough nutrition, it's going to turn your muscles into fuel, slowing down your metabolism and your immune system, and you're going to gain 2/3, you're going to weigh more than what you did when you started. You all have experienced the yo-yo effect, you know it, and you always thought it was you. It had nothing to do with you. Diets, counting calories, which has been around now for about 100 years, every year we get bigger and bigger and bigger. We have more diets than ever before, right? I mean, it's just so unbelievably crazy what we're doing. Let me see what they're saying here. So who would like to ask me a question, I guess is what I'm saying. If you didn't get a chance to hear what I said about why this doesn't work, I'm happy to do that. We have lots of people on here. We got 450 likes. Come on, let's get some more taps. So SD Casino wins. Thank you very much for the heart. I really appreciate that. How about the rest of you? What do you want to do with your lives? You want to keep following nice people, influencers on here, medical doctors, chiropractors, dietitians, nutritionists. But how come they don't have one shred of medical evidence what they're telling you to do? I'll tell you why. Because if you did a peer-reviewed human trial study, they'd find out that what they're claiming, they can't back up their claims. There's no medical proof behind it. And the medical proof that is out there, like in this big study in the Journal of the American Medical Association, it's pitiful. Now let's talk about the shots, because everybody's excited about those. First thing, we're not against the shots. They're helping diabetics, they're helping morbidly obese people. But listen, we're reading from the study. Again, you can go and look it up. The New England Journal of Medicine, arguably one of the top 1 or 2 medical journals in the world, recognized, okay? They did a 68-week study. Now, keep in mind, we're going to just give you the evidence. You decide what you want to do with it. So this study, that's a year and 4 months, everybody. 1 year and 4 months. Once weekly semaglutide in adults with overweight or obesity. After 68 weeks, the weight loss was 32 pounds, and of the 32 pounds that people lost, 40% was lean muscle mass. And of course, they said this is clinically relevant reduction in body weight. Keep in mind, 32 pounds in a year and 4 months. She lost 21 pounds in a month. Curtis lost 40 pounds in a month. Which one would you choose if you had the choice? We're leaving that decision up to you. We're not going to comment on that. Why would we need to comment? You can draw your own conclusions. You're smart people. All you need is the evidence. What you're lacking is the evidence. What you're lacking is the proof. Now we have the proof in these 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies, which you can see for free. As a matter of fact, here's the website, everybody, so you know. Right here. Type in the new health conversation. We need a new health conversation, right? The new health conversation. In Google, it comes up right away, and boom, there's the website. There's nothing to buy there. Only thing there is the medical proof, including number 1 is an exclusive podcast with the number 1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world for 40 years, the number 1 person in the world. He'll tell you flat out. If you're on they've abandoned all traditional diets now. They'll never recommend any form of traditional diet ever again after 40 years of research because of this. Now, granted, they did invent it, but here's the cool thing. They don't have any products. They don't sell anything. They're scientists. But they got a patent on this new eating called protein pacing. We teach you how to do it or not to do. See, that's the sad part. I would say the majority of you, almost all of you, will go back to what? Paleo, keto. I'd love to know what diets you're on and why you think any of them would actually work long term. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm a scientist. I'm a researcher. I'm just giving you the proof. The proof is overwhelming. Counting calories is dead. It's over. It's finished. It never worked. It worked until it didn't. That's a better way to say it. Let's be kind. It worked until it didn't. How many of you have lost weight, tortured yourself, and gained it all back? Or most of it, or some of you weigh more than when you're 66. According to the studies, 2/3 of you are going to weigh more than you did when you started. Who would like to ask me a question? Mr. Nice. Truth above all. Joshua. Joshua's on twice. Who would like to ask me a question? Can we get some more taps? Can we get some more likes up here? But here's the real essence. So the weight loss secret that makes all diets obsolete. These 2 women, I coached them, okay? This is in Women's World, the number 1 women's magazine in the world. The daughter, who's a nurse, she's 57 years old. She lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom is 80, lost 90 pounds in 9 months. So together you can see that they lost 140 pounds. They've both kept it off now for 3 years. The magazine, Over 50 Protein Miracle, that's the magazine's headline. Has nothing to do with the people that created the diet. They're scientists. But and there's even a big study inside the magazine. Here it is right here. And I think you can still get it online. I know it's sold out on the newsstands pretty fast because they're calling it New Protein Miracle Diet. Doesn't that sound pretty cool, all of you? So who would like to ask a question about this? Because what they did, what these 2 women did was exactly what they did in the medical trials. Because if you do this, you get a free coach. And actually the researchers had developed this for their patients, the blueprint for success. And these are all daily videos where you can watch and they teach you about why this works, why they'd never recommend a diet again. And in here, you also get, hopefully you can read it, you see there the schedules and also the recommended food list. And then those little squares you see, each day you get a video from the researchers who have no products to sell. Now, why would they do that? Because it took them 40 years to develop this. They're getting credit for this, maybe one of the greatest breakthroughs in the history of mankind. Because right now we have 1 billion people worldwide clinically obese, 1 billion, and about 2.5 billion overweight out of 8 billion people. So it's spreading around the world. It's not just the United States. I just saw these statistics this morning, actually. And I'm just shocked that, aren't you curious? Aren't you curious about this? I'd love for anybody to get questions. This is live. This isn't pre-recorded. I'm here. I'll answer whatever questions you want. But why, how many of you, what would you give any of you to lose 20, well, in 21 pounds there, but let's just say 20 pounds in a month, 5 pounds a week. You know, in all diets, you're maybe at a pound and a half a week, at the, not a pound, a half to a pound a week is great. You're really excited about that. But how about 5 pounds a week? How about my friend's daughter? How about 60 pounds in 3 months? Not that you need to lose 60 pounds. Don't hear me say that. But I'm just saying, look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body. No loose skin. Do you understand none of these people in the pictures I'm showing you were allowed to exercise? They actually wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. What? The researchers weren't against exercise, but they wanted to eliminate it. Otherwise, you'd say, oh, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, no one exercised. This is going to change the world. It could change your world. You literally could hit the reset button for the rest of your life. I can't believe no one wants to ask me a question. You're not curious about how did she do this? Any of you? Are we that sinister, skeptical, that you really believe what's proven to be untrue? That counting calories, some diet you're on, somehow you think you're going to lose weight and keep it off? You're going to be a real medical anomaly if that's the case. Because all these big medical studies say that our whole diet thing is wrong. It's upside down. It's backwards. It doesn't work. Here's another big one. The science behind why diets don't work. In this case, they said our researchers reviewed more than 30 long-term studies showing that all diets actually cause weight gain. The more diets someone has tried, the more they weigh. You've probably experienced that if you've been on several different diets. Now it's harder to lose the weight and then it comes back way much faster. They said, so not only does dieting not work for long-term weight loss, but it's also associated with increased risk of binge eating disorders, and long-term weight gain. Again, I would say to all of you, with all due respect, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? No one's arguing that you're going to lose weight in the short run. No one is arguing that. We're not saying that. But it's not sustainable. This protocol, by the way, that picture's 8 or 9 years old. She's been able to keep the weight off for 8 or 9 years. In my case, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks. 23 years ago, I've kept it off for 23 years. How does that sound to everybody? So again, I would just say, who would like to ask me a question? Like, how did she do it? Why? Etc. RCD62, thanks for the rose. Joshua, thanks for being on here. Kaz Dancing, thanks for being on here. SD Casinos, I already thanked you before. We're only at 452 likes. Can we get some taps on that screen? I know it's 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, so people may be still at work on the East Coast, where we have a lot of people that are responding. But we also got people all over the world. Like right now, no, it's a little too early. In another 2 hours, we'll have people in Australia and New Zealand that are coming on. We've got people in Ireland and France, and all this is going international. So who else would like to ask me? Thank you all for tapping on that screen. We just hit 500. Come on, let's get some more taps. Let's get some more taps. But I guess I'm baffled. Are you not curious? Some of you? For your own lives, for your own self, you can do this? I mean, Kristen is the best. This is kind of the least amount we're used to people losing, like 5 pounds a week. That's nothing. I mean, when you look at Curtis, an older guy, 40 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days. Least important part of his story, look at his lab work, his A1C from 8.4 to 6.4, his triglycerides from 242 to 124. I mean, this is possible for all of you. Well, maybe not 40 pounds in a month, depending on how much you have to lose. But look at his stomach. His stomach basically went away in a month. No one was allowed to exercise. He wasn't allowed to exercise. He wore a Fitbit to prove he wasn't exercising. And this is this is what's really cool. These two women, I coached them. This is the cover of this magazine, Women's World. The daughter, 57 years old, lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom lost 90 pounds in 9 months, and they both have kept it off for 4 years. This is the #1 women's magazine in the world. To be on the cover of this, you don't think this is real? You think it's fake? I'm not saying you do. Because, and how did it end up? They're calling it over 50 protein miracle. The magazine's calling it that. Now, why? Because it's backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. Nothing else they've ever talked about in the magazine was ever backed by peer-reviewed human trial studies. Which diet do you think is backed by peer-reviewed human trial studies? Who would it be? What is it? Rose is finally asking the question. Guam Rose, curious. Good. Okay. So let's talk about it. Okay. So what this actually is, it's not a diet. It's not about counting calories. Okay. The researchers who invented it are recognized as the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the entire world. They had done 100 studies over 40 years where they were analyzing diets like the paleo diet or the keto diet or fasting, whatever it was. Over 40 years, 100 studied thousands of people, and they came to one conclusion: that diets are miserable failures, and everybody lost weight initially in all the diets they studied, and 2/3 of people ended up weighing more than what they did when they started, and they found that 25 to 40% of the actual pounds people were losing, because they measured it, was lean muscle mass, which is the problem, because when you lose lean muscle, it slows down your metabolism. That's why you gain all the weight back. So they developed a new system. There's no products here. This is food. But the theory was they would locate foods with high levels of nutrition on obviously not high levels of food. And they picked 30% of the food she consumed or you would consume on this from your grocery store. You actually get a grocery list: proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But instead of giving her calorie counts or giving you calorie counts, you'd get serving sizes. You got it? Serving sizes. Now, the other thing that was so significant is, and the reason it worked, that 70% of what she consumed did not come from foods in the United States. Why would that be? Because even organic in this country is borderline, almost nutritionally bankrupt of nutrients in terms of the numbers, the amount, right? So they found these other researchers who for 20 years, these other researchers, not the one that's created this, had gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with large amounts of nutrition, small quantities. Some of the nutrients in these foods came from areas in the world called blue zones, where people living to be 100 years old. Okay, so now the researchers had what they wanted. 30% of the food from the grocery store you'd buy at the grocery store. The other 70% you buy directly from these suppliers who had found these food or these nutrients around the world. Then, so they had part of it. Theirs was the nutrition. Now they invented a new way of consuming. It's patented, for crying out loud. It's called protein pacing. Imagine, the U.S. Patent Office gave them a patent. To get a patent, you got to have something that's a new way of eating? Really? That's what they did. So here's what they did. It's what it's called, protein pacing. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods from around the world, which the researchers have called the world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint, which is the only thing you should care about. That was breakfast, no food from the grocery store. Lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods, world's most perfect meals, let's call it that. And that was called protein pacing. Now notice the word pacing. It wasn't just that they were getting all this nutrition. It was spread out over 8 or 10 hours. They tried different versions. They had people have the same amount of nutrition, lunch and dinner. It didn't work, or was nowhere near as effective as spreading out the nutrition. So that's one of the things you'd learn, protein pacing, okay? That's 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, you do something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, but you're going to get food from these exotic foods from around the world. You eat 8 times a day. You're literally eating every hour and a half. Nobody was hungry. We had people who weighed 400 pounds. They weren't hungry. The diabetics, no one had insulin spikes, completely contrary to anything anybody had ever seen before. In a month's time, listen to this, in a month, hunger can have 41% for people, 41%. In about 2 weeks, people's cravings pretty much disappear. Because again, you were craving calories, or you thought you were, only your body doesn't even know what a calorie is. No, you were craving nutrition. That's why you get so hungry on these diets. Does this make sense? Give me a yes. What you're craving when you're hungry is not calories. It's not another cheeseburger. It's the nutrition that's the only thing your body runs on. It doesn't run on food. It runs on what's in food, the nutrition. So the key was to get the weight off people and then teach them how to keep it off. As a matter of fact, it's called R2M, race to maintenance. That's what it's called. That's what the researchers call it. Because it makes no sense to lose the weight just to gain it all back, which you've all done on all these diets. And sadly, 2/3 you're going to end up weighing more than you did before. A couple more things that are critical. Number one, you can see right above your head in blue, the new health conversation. It's a free medical website where you all can go see the medical proof. There's nothing to buy there. By the way, so 30% of the money you'd spend at your grocery store with that list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables, the other 70% of the money you would spend from these researchers from around the world, they will give you, those researchers, 100% of your money back in the first 30 days if it doesn't work. And most people ask about the cost. The cost is about what you spent last month total on food, maybe a little bit more, but it doesn't matter. Those researchers, if it doesn't work or you're unhappy, whatever, they'll give you all your money back. I know it sounds good to be true, and you get coached for free. The coaching's not optional. You've never done anything like this before. And why would you need a coach? Because we got kids as young as 2 doing parts of this. We have a lady that's 91 years old. We have people with no thyroids. They had thyroid cancer, had the thyroids removed. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with kidney transplant. We have people with no gallbladders. No, we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, preventing any diseases. But we are quoting, showing you what's in the public record in these peer-reviewed human trial studies. I know it sounds too good to be true. But your risk is you don't do it, you go on a diet and you say, you know, that crazy scientist that I saw, he was right. I gained back all my weight. We want to prevent that. We want to help you. We want to make you aware. We're coaching you for free the whole time, all the way through and showing you how to do maintenance. I'm just curious, how does that sound to everybody? Do you have any additional questions for me? I'm already on the system. Okay, great, Rose. Yes, makes sense, Guam says. Okay, wonderful. So RCD 62, Rose. You're already on. Great, Rose. Well, what do you mean, what is it? If you're already on the system, you know what it is. Who else would like to ask me a question? Guam Rose 671, thank you. Thank you very much for the heart. Well, I guess I thanked you before. But who else would like to ask me a question? We've been on now for about 47 minutes. I'm going to end this in about another 5 minutes, just to rest my voice a little bit. It's now 4:30 on the East Coast. I'll probably do another one in, let's see, 4:35. I'll probably do another one like maybe a little bit after 5, like in 30, 40 minutes. I need to get a drink of water and rest my voice because I've been really on this today. So Guam Rose. And Guam Rose, do you understand you can go to the website right above her head there in blue? Give me a yes, the new health conversation. And well, let me show you better. You go to Google, type in the new, look at right there, Rose, the new health conversation. Takes you to Google, right on the top is the new, and there's the website. There's nothing to buy there, just to be clear. Guam Rose. Okay, good. Nothing. There's no gimmicks. There's no tricks. But let me ask you something, Guam Rose. How excited would you be? And I don't even know. Maybe you want to gain weight because we do have people that want to gain weight. We have a two-year-old doing this. We have a 91-year-old. But if you did want to lose weight, how excited would you be if you could lose 5 pounds a week? Would that excite you a lot? Do you think that would motivate you to continue to get your goals? Any of you, I'd love for anybody to put in the chat. And can we get some more taps? Anybody that's still on in the last 5 minutes? We're at 591 likes. I know we can get more than that. Yes. Oh my gosh, it's a whole family approach. Listen, we have my grandson, okay, started on part of this when he was 14 months old. He's now 5. But again, those are what you give to a child is going to be different than what you give to someone who's 91 years old, for example. But that's why you get a coach for free, if that makes sense. So Kaz Dancing, Kaz Dancing, you're clear about the website right above her head there, the New Health Conversation. That's the free website to go to. When you go there, Kaz, we will not contact you unless you contact us. You can get a free coach and they'll answer all your questions about you, your family, whatever you want to do moving forward. Because what normally happens in families, when you realize what this can do for kids, it's just unbelievable. You're giving them the highest levels of nutrition that we know about on the planet. It's not lotions, potions, pills, supplements. It's food. I mean, it's food. That's what's so great about it. And the researchers who invent it, they don't have any there's no products. It's food. But very specific foods, especially from your grocery store, those proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables, and you get serving sizes, not calorie counting. Kids thrive on this. Especially, my God, a kid's growing so fast, to give them these huge amounts of nutrition and really small, instead of giving, I'm not saying you are, instead of giving Cocoa Puffs or whatever it is. I mean, this is life-changing. It really helps their cognitive ability, their anxiety, lots of things improve because of the nutrition. And it's not supplements, it's food. So hopefully I've made that, painfully clear. Yeah, Guam Rose, I've been on these diet trends and gained the weight back plus. Yes, I'll look. Good. So Guam Rose 671, you have to understand that the difference, we have 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. Anything you were on before, there's not one shred of medical evidence behind, and you're proving my point. I've been on those diet trends and gained the weight back plus. Well, that's what they said. Medicare. I don't know if you heard me read this before, Guam Rose 671. Listen to this, folks. Medicare. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. This is Medicare. Diets are not the answer. Our researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether dieting of any form is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. So you're proving my point, Guam Rose. That's why you gained all the weight back, because it was based on this ridiculous concept somehow of counting calories, and they ignored nutrition. This is so different, Guam Rose, so different. I mean, my friend's daughter, to lose 60 pounds in 3 months and keep it off for 8 or 9 years, that should I'm not intimating that you have 60 pounds to lose. I'm just giving you one of the examples. With no exercise, what do you all think about this? No, the foods are not weird at all. No, because number one, part of what you're going to be eating is proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables from the grocery store. They taste really good. They're not weird. Okay? I mean, they really do taste good. People are pretty shocked. Just because it's good for you doesn't mean it has to taste bad. That may be the old adage, but not in this case. Look, I've been doing it for 23 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years, to give you an idea. Kaz Dancing. Guam Rose, that sounds great. But all of you, including you, Kaz, what do you think about that picture of this young woman who's the daughter of a friend of mine? I swear to you, on my kids' lives, my grandkids' lives, we didn't Photoshop that. Kaz, does that excite you? Do you understand what this could mean? Because you understand it's not a short-lived thing. It's a system that we can live with. Now, the key is once you get to maintenance, it's easy to stay there. You know how simple maintenance is, Kaz, or anybody else, or any of you? You have exotic food for breakfast, 2 normal meals, and then maybe every couple months you do another 48-hour intermittent nutritional fasting. Now, let me tell you why that's so important, about why would you still want to do the 48 hours, because you've lost your weight. Because you, Kaz, and everybody has this medical syndrome. It's called TDOS. T stands for toxins, D for nutritional deficiency, O for being overweight, S is for stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. Everybody has it. We're storing chemicals inside our fat cells. In these studies, Kaz and everybody else, they did blood, stool, urine, fat, and muscle analysis proving this. Here's the secret. Remember we said right there, the weight loss secret? It's not weight loss, it's a detox. And they have the medical proof proving that this is removing herbicides, pesticides, Scott guard, Teflon, and stuff from our body. There is no other There is no other even product in the world like this. I'll read it to you right now. This is from PubMed. Now, PubMed is the library that houses all the medical, pretty much, papers in the world. Listen to what they said about these companies claiming they have a detox or a weight loss thing. As of June 15, 2025, there are no irrefutable peer-reviewed human trial studies on PubMed or elsewhere that substantiate the claims of commercial detox products for toxin removal, weight loss, or health problems. They're giving you a product, telling you it works. There's no product involved here. It's your body doing it. Do you understand? There's no other equivalent to this. The main reason to do this now, you'll understand, is to detox your body. Oh, and by the way, you can lose weight like they did and keep it off for years. It's not up for debate. We know we're storing chemicals in our body. There was a study, go look it up, microplastics in your brain from 6 weeks ago now. We're storing microplastics in our brain and in our coronary arteries. I mean, hello? Is this crazy? Well, good, Guam Rose. I'm glad that it's inspiring. But do you all understand that now? This is not, wow, we jumped to 1,900 likes. A bunch of people must have come on that like it. But everyone, the weight loss secret is not a diet. It's a new system. It's nutrition, weight loss, and health. That's what the system produces. The outcome should always be health. It's not a matter, can you fit in your skinny jeans? You can do that on a diet. But what if you lost the weight to get there? You've lost your lean muscle mass. And you're not going to get that back just by coming off the diet and even if you start eating healthy and going to the gym again. They estimate for every pound of lean muscle you lose, it takes you about 12 months to recover. And 25 to 40% of the weight you're losing, I don't care what the diet is lean muscle. So let's say you lost 20 pounds. That would be 5 to 8 pounds of that is lean muscle. According to the studies, it would take you 5 to 8 years to recover what you lost. That's why you yo-yo in these diets, and that's why the next diet you go on, it's worse and you gain more faster back because you haven't replaced this lean muscle mass. This is a scientific facts. These aren't opinions that I'm giving you. Thank you. I need definitely looking into it. I need to head out to work. Take care. Guam Rose, thank you very, very much. Go look at it, all of you. I hope you'll all go and check out the website. And let me show you one last time. You can go to the website, or go to Google and type in, right there you'll see it, the new health conversation, just like it sounds, conversation. It'll come right up in Google, the top one, click the new health conversation, and there you are. It takes you to the website. There's nothing to buy on that website, and we won't contact you. The only way we'll contact you is you contact us. Scroll down, you get a free coach, and we will contact you. Okay? I'm going to go 3 more minutes. Oh, we're at 2,200 likes. We're getting lots of people liking this content now. So has anybody that's just come on before I shut this down, this particular one, would anybody like to ask me a question? Because really, everybody's concerned about the weight loss secret, and I just gave it away. I just showed you what it is. There's no products involved. This is food and a new system for consuming food. That's what this is. It's not a diet. But look at the results, everybody, right? All right, everybody, I'm going to go 2 more minutes. If nobody asks me a question, then I'm going to shut this one down, and I'll come back on. So it's now almost 5 o'clock on the East Coast. So let's say I'll probably come back maybe 5:30 or so, East Coast time. I want to do at least 1 or 2 more of these today because there's so many people that are desperate for this information. Not from me. It's not I didn't do the studies. I didn't invent this. Somebody else invented it. We're bringing it to we're making you aware of it. And you can see the medical proof at the New Health Conversation, including an interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the whole world who invented this, along with his team. They've done 40 years of research, 100 studies on every diet out there. And they just said diets just don't work. And they invented this, which is not a diet. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. And like I said, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. That's what should excite all of you. Okay? No, Ruby, you don't need to buy a book. Ruby, what you can do you see right there in blue where it says Women's World, the New Health Conversation? It's all on that website for free. There's videos. It explains everything about it. No, I don't want you to buy a book. That's not what we're doing here. We've provided free Are you interested in how she did this? 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days. Ruby, give me a sign. Tell me a yes. Please give me a yes or a sign, Ruby. You see, you can go to that website right above her head there, in blue, the New Health Converse. Yes. Fleeting Mom. Margarita, I'm interested. Wow, lots of people coming on now. I was about ready to stop. I think I'll keep going. So for Ruby, for Fleeting Mom, for Margarita, would any of you like me to explain how she did this before I end this podcast? Please give me a yes, anybody, if you didn't hear my explanation. But for all of you, you also, yes, please, Fleeting Mom. Okay, so please be patient. This is going to take me a couple minutes. This isn't some simple fluff talk. The researchers who created this are rated the #1 weight loss, nutrition, physiologist in the world. In case you don't know what a physiologist is, they study the nutrients once they enter the body. It's a rare thing. It's almost unheard of that you would have a nutritionist who's also a physiologist. Okay, now, those researchers had done, are you ready for this, everyone? 100 studies over 40 years, thousands of people on every diet out there. They were paid to analyze the diets. They didn't create any diets. So they did paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, fasting, Cornish diet, zone diet, lose weight for your blood type, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, on and on and on. And what they concluded after 40 years was they found no diet, well, a couple things. One, every diet people lost weight initially. They joke and say, you know, you can lose weight on the Dunkin' Donut diet, but it's really the wrong kind of weight loss, which is the case for every diet. The reason diets fail is really pretty simple. You're all counting calories and your body has no idea, none, zero, what a calorie is. Your body doesn't count calories, doesn't care about calories. You're counting them for what reason? I don't know. I do know because that's what we've all been told. So the researchers, after all this time, said, we think we know the solution. Here's the solution. Your body runs on 3 basic principles, or you wouldn't be alive. Air, obviously, breathing, drinking water. But the third and most important, overlooked, is we have a minimum amount of what that we need in order to be alive, in order to power all our organs. What's the fuel for the organ? Nutrition. What you're doing to yourself on a diet is you're reducing the amount of food you're consuming. Think about it. Now you're reducing the amount of nutrition. When your brain senses there's not enough fuel to run the organs, it goes in starvation mode. It thinks you're starving to death because you are from a nutritional standpoint. So what the brain does, it immediately shuts down your ability to access the fuel in your fat cell and turns for fuel to what? So we survive. Our muscles. That's why people end up with all this loose skin. In all the studies of the weight you're losing, 25 to 40% is your lean muscle mass. Got that, everyone? And when that happens, 2 of the most unhealthy things happen to you. Number 1, I mentioned, it slows down your metabolism. That's why you plateau on these diets. That's why you come off these diets and you gain everything back. It's not your fault. It's the wrong approach. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, what it also does by losing lean muscle, it slows down your own immune system. So you're making yourself unhealthy by going on these crazy diets. So the research said, okay, this is what's going to be different. We're going to find foods, and the only criteria we want is they want to have high amounts of nutrition. So they put together a grocery list that you would get, that she used. You go to the store, organic food, proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But only 30% of the total food she consumed in a month, she would get from her grocery store, or you would get from the grocery store. The other 70%, here's what made it work, came from other researchers who for 20 years had gone around the world. They physically had gone to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand, finding foods with huge amounts of nutrition, which was the goal of the researchers, right? There are no products here. There are no lotions, potions, pills, supplements. It's food. So 30% from your grocery store and 70% from these exotic foods around the world, which the researchers, you know what they call it? The world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint. That's what we should care about, right? So then, based on these 2 food groups, they created a completely new way of eating to the point they got a patent from the U.S. Patent Office on this new way of eating called protein pacing. What the heck is that? I'm going to tell you right now. 5 days a week, you would have 4 meals a day. You'd start with the world's most perfect meal for breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner, the world's most perfect meals. Notice it's 4 meals. And the thing that they've proved, the timing mattered. So the pacing of when people ate really mattered, because they tried also to give people like the same amount of nutrition and say have lunch and dinner. It didn't work, or it was very ineffective compared to this, because the most efficient way for the body to use that nutrition is to spread it out over like 8 or 9 or 10 hours. And look at the results. Now that's 5 days a week, 4 meals a day, protein pacing. Hopefully you all get that. 2 days a week she did, and this is the most important part of the whole thing. 2 days a week she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, but not fasting like you'd think, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store at all, zero food, but only these exotic foods from around the world. But this time she ate 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half. People weren't hungry. There were people on this weigh 400 pounds. They weren't hungry. And diabetics, no one had insulin spikes. Do you know how amazing? At the end of 30 days, people's hunger had gone down 41%. Blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides had all plummeted. And one of the biggest ones ever that we're all suffering from, inflammation. It's the underlying cause now of every disease out there, according to the medical world. It went down 25% in a month. So that stiffness and that discomfort that you feel, woo, how good would it be to reduce that without medication? And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or preventing any diseases. Don't hear me say that. That's not what we're doing. We're simply sharing with you what's in the public record, these peer-reviewed human trial studies that nobody else has. There's nobody else in the whole world with 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So this is revolutionary, but it's safe. And again, we started out, what's the secret? This weight loss secret, what is it? It's not a diet. You know what it is? It's a detox. Because the other thing you all need to know is that we're all afflicted by this new medical syndrome. TDOS, T for toxins, D for deficiency of nutrition, O for being overweight, S is for stress. It's a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office. Peter Greenlaw, oh, that's me. I did discover it. That's not what's important. What's important is we now know that you, anybody on this podcast, anybody in the world, any child, we're all storing chemicals inside of our body. And the body takes the chemical. When it puts it in the fat cell expands. See, when people tell you burn fat on a diet or exercise, it's a complete lie. You're born with a certain number of fat cells, you die with a certain number of fat cells, and in between, they can expand or contract, period. That's it. So for all of you that are listening to this, the point is that you can completely change your lives. Well, look what she did, and just how many of you would be excited about losing 20 pounds in a month, 5 pounds a week? Put it in the chat for me. And you've got to understand that website. Someone asked me, is there a book? No, we put all the medical proof for you in the New Health Conversation, right there in the website. It's free. And we won't contact you if you go there. Why? Because we want you to be able to go without the threat, we're going to try and harass you. We're not selling anybody anything. Our coaches, you get free coach. If you like what you see, scroll down and you get a free coach the whole time. You've never done anything like this before. Listen, we have people with no thyroids that had thyroid cancer. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with a kidney transplant. We have people with no gallbladders. And again, we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, and preventing any diseases. I know it sounds too good to be true, but let me ask you something. Can you take the chance not to go to that website and look at one of the things that's there, number one, I'll show you the website. Here it is. Type in the new, it's got to be the new, by the way, the New Health Conversation into Google or whatever search engine you have. There it is. Click on it. It takes you to the website. There's nothing there to buy, but number one, you'll notice it says exclusive podcast with the number one weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. Recognizes the top person in the world, and he'll tell you why they're telling you, stop counting calories, never go on a diet again. This is the answer. And they don't sell anything. So it's not like he has an incentive, like he's pitching some product. There is no product. It's a combination of the foods and this unique, the patented eating pattern that they created that we would teach you. Someone taught us. We didn't know how to do this. Give me some yeses or some thumbs up. Are you excited about this? Definitely. Alliance. So did I answer? Does everyone understand? Chad G. Ruby, Chad G. Dolores, Alliance, Fleeting Mom, me, Margarita. Did everyone get to hear the explanation of the secret? The secret to this. It's not a gimmick. You have to understand. First of all, when you're on the cover I believe most of the women would know this. This is the cover. This is the #1 women's magazine in the world. Those two women, I coached them. The daughter, she's 57 years old. She's a nurse. She lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom's 80, lost 90 pounds in 9 months, and they both have kept it off now for 3 years. It's not a secret anymore because they wrote a big article about it in the magazine. It's a news story. It's a news story. I'll show you the article. And I don't think you can buy it maybe on the newsstand now. I know it literally sold out because there were so many people. We're getting inundated with interest from people because everybody's looking for the solution. Here it is. But here's what's different. We got the only medical proof in the world that, here it is. Here's the article, everybody. New Protein Miracle Diet. That's the magazine. They're saying that. It wasn't the research. The researchers don't give a damn about that kind of stuff. But the fact you have 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies proving it's real. So whether it's Dolores or whether it's Fleeting Mom or Alliance or Margarita, I mean, what do you all think about this? Seriously, please give me some feedback. I live on feedback, even if it's bad sometimes. But seriously, I'd love for your opinions. This is for all of you. This is for your lives moving forward. It's not for me. I lost my weight. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. And I had some real medical challenges. All my numbers normalized in about 7 weeks, and I've kept it that way now for 23 years. See, the main reason to do this is not to lose weight. That's a throw-in. The main reason to do it is to detoxify your body. It is first and foremost, it's a detox, as I just explained to you, because the researchers did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, and muscle analysis too, and proved that this protocol was detoxing the body. Well, it was assisting the body. The body is what detoxes you. There is no anything other than that detoxes you. See, every night when you go to sleep, whether you know it or not, your body has to do something called autophagy. It's when the body gets rid of the damage, the dead cells. You don't want those hanging around because they can morph into things like cancer. So every night, as long as you don't eat too late, your body automatically detoxes. It's called autophagy. Well, the researchers proved that they created an aversion of autophagy when you're awake. That's why the 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast, why I still do it every couple weeks, not for weight loss. I mean, hell, I lost the weight 23 years ago. So I'm not doing it for weight loss anymore. I'm doing it to detoxify. Think of it this way. Those 48 hours, I got my teeth cleaned this week by my dental, or last week. And so she sends me, so the detox is the deep, detox. But then maintenance is why I do it every couple of months, the 48 hours. It's amazing. Because the main thing people say, which hopefully you'd be, they can't believe how they feel. They can't believe their energy, their mental focus. They can't believe, like I said, inflammation went down 25% a month. There's no diet. There's no influence out there that has any medical proof like this. It doesn't exist. It never did until now. And some of these studies were started 13 years ago. And they've tracked the people. They've kept the weight off for 13 years. Does that excite all of you? Oh, Margarita, looking at the site now. Yeah, Ellen, that's my TikTok, the new health conversation. Let me show you again, everybody. So type in the new, make sure it has to have the new health conversation. You see it right there. It'll come up on Google, click on it, and it'll take you right to the website. There's nothing to buy there. The only thing on there is the medical proof, including one is the interview podcast with the #1 nutritional weight loss physiologist in the world who invented this along with his team. You know what they said? Right in the interview, they'll never recommend a traditional diet to any of their patients again. They said it would be unethical. We now know that what we were doing, what we were analyzing, because they didn't create these diets, was so unhealthy because people were losing 25 to 40% of their lean muscle mass. And we couldn't figure out why every person, 2/3 of them anyway, were gaining back more weight than they lost. Because when you lose lean muscle, your body slows down your metabolism. It's not like let's have a discussion about it. That's what's going on. So this whole nonsense about calories in, calories out, calorie deficit to lose weight, total nonsense. Again, in a year's time, I've had 8 people give me the true definition. Does anyone know of you on here right now the definition of a calorie? Do you even know? You're counting calories. Why? Why are you counting calories? Your body has no idea what a calorie even is. So why are you counting calories? I really would like to know. See, that's the dilemma that we all have. It's solved. The researchers did it. They proved that it had nothing to do with calories. It only had to do with the thing that keeps us alive, along with air and water, is nutrition, not food. I mean, food is the carrier of the nutrition. Does that make sense to everybody? Has anyone ever explained it to you this way? Please tell me, give me feedback. Am I explaining it in a way that you all can understand it? Am I making it simple enough? Because it's pretty complicated from a medical, but I don't need to get into all that nonsense. The main thing is you want to know, how did she lose 21 pounds and 38 inches in a month and keep it off for eight years? That's what you want to know. So I'm doing my best to make it non-science-y in a sense. It was pretty simple. Give her as much nutrition in the fewest amount of food, and the body takes over. Look at the results, everybody. Margarita, the cost is going to depend on what you want to do. Okay, that's why you get a free coach. I can tell you this, most people feel, Margarita, that whatever you spent last month total on food, it's about what you'll spend this month. It's very affordable, okay? But again, part of it is, you know, do you want to lose weight? Do you want to gain weight? How much do you want to lose? So again, the coaches are not there to convince you. They'll answer all those questions based on what's your need. What do you really want to do? Does that make sense? So the coaches, yeah, good. All I can tell you is, so Margarita or Fleeting Mom or any of you, do you feel this has been really, wow, we're at 5,000 likes. Woo, people woke up. I was going to quit like 25 minutes ago. I'm glad I didn't. But again, for any of you on here, please give me some feedback. I want to help as many people as I can. The way I explained it, does it make sense? Do you understand why this is going to make every diet out there obsolete and why it's not a diet? Did I explain that to everybody? Please give me some feedback. Or not. Don't be shy. I'm a nice person. I'm just curious. You really help me. If you can explain, if you can validate, verify that what I'm doing is understandable for the masses, then I think we're onto something. It doesn't matter that I understand it. It only matters that you understand it, and it's my job to convey it. My only job is to make you aware. My job is not to convince you. My job is not to sell you. The coach's job, they're not there to, they're going to answer all your questions based on your own individual needs. Can you imagine? We got people with no thyroids, had thyroid cancer. We got people with hypothyroidism and goiter and all that kind of stuff. And they all get better. Menopause. Oh, we didn't even talk about menopause. Oh, this helps unbelievable with menopause. I would imagine some of you women probably have menopause on this, because there's something like 1 billion people worldwide are in menopause, women anyway. Yeah, it's not that's why they call it, so it's 3 parts. It's a system. The system is what? Nutrition, how you do it, and the outcome is your health improvement. That's the system. That's what it's designed to do, and that's what it does do. Okay? Margarita, I don't get them. These are other researchers who've gotten those foods over 20 years. They physically went to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. You buy those directly from them. But your coaches direct you, because those researchers, they have about 100 different foods, but they only used about 6 of them in the studies. And obviously we want you to do whatever they did in the studies. That's why you need the coach. And they'll explain all that to you. It's not up for debate. So don't worry about where you get them. You get them. That's part of what the coaches do. You get a grocery list, you take that to the grocery store, proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But those other exotic foods, they'll show you how to, and you buy directly from them. You're not buying from the coaches. The coaches don't have anything to sell. But also, Margarita, listen to this. Those researchers, let's say you do it for 30 days. You didn't work, it didn't produce a result. They'll give you all your money back, no question. 100% money back guarantee on 70% of what you're going to consume. All of you, what's your risk? Are they giving you 100% money back guarantee on paleo or keto or Mediterranean? I see these people with this time-restricted eating. They want to sell you recipes. What good is that to you? Because the recipe is useless, because the food that's in the recipe is already nutritionally compromised from a nutritional standpoint of view. It's ridiculous. I don't fault them. But we're not charging you a penny for any coaching or any of the insights. You're buying food, period. But then we teach you this new way. But you got to understand, like that time-restricted eating, let me explain to you the real medical proof behind it. They're telling you can lose 20 pounds in a month and most of it's fat. Okay, well, I'm a scientist. This is the Journal of the American Medical Association about this. What I'm talking about, they tell you to fast for 16 hours, eat for 8, okay? The Journal of the American Medical Association research found that overweight adults who were assigned to routinely fast 16 hours daily, called time-restricted eating, over the course of 3 months, I'm quoting from the study, over the course of 3 months gained almost no benefit from it. Over the course of a 3-month study, they lost an average of 2 to 3.5 pounds, and most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. What? It's the misinformation that's out there. No one challenges it because all the influences, they're all giving you is opinions. So nobody can, we're different. We have the hard evidence, the medical proof. Everything I'm saying to you is backed by peer-reviewed human trial studies. How come they don't have any studies? Why are you counting calories when your body has no idea what a calorie even is? I don't know. So, Margarita, the coaching is either call, text, phone, or they do Zoom as well. No, it's real. It's not somebody it's someone who's done it, and they're coaching people. This is real. It's free. Okay? So the only thing is, if you're in another country, we recommend that they use WhatsApp. I don't know, Margarita, where you're located, because we've got people all over the globe now. We've got people in England and France and Germany and Finland and areas where those suppliers supply. New Zealand, Australia, etc. So if those people from those foreign countries are coming, we always suggest they use WhatsApp. Sounds like you're probably in the United States, so that's not a problem. When you go there, you fill out the information, and you'll probably get follow-up within a day. You might even get it today. It depends. I don't know how busy we are. It depends. This is my 3rd live that I've done today, so I haven't checked the logs to see how many people are wanting to do this. Yes, absolutely. Detox is the starting point. Okay, listening is coaching. I send you so many times, but no answer. Toffee. We always respond, Toffee. Are you sure you went to the new health conversation? Is this where you went, Toffee? Let me show you. Did you go here, the new health conversation? Is that where you went? And when you clicked on it, did it look like this? Is that what it looked like? The 2 women at the top there? Is that what you saw? If they didn't get back to you, it's because the phone number you put in, if you're in a foreign country, it has to be in WhatsApp. That's a free application. I suppose it could happen, but we're very diligent about, we follow up every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. So something's wrong if you didn't get contacted. No, that's not true. It's actually less. It's less than that. And what they're not taking into account is the food you're not buying from the grocery store. So I don't know. I've never really thought about it that way, but it probably works out to like. Remember, here's what you need to understand. Margarita in Ontario, no problem. But PK, it probably works out to 70 meals in a month are supplied by what you're buying from the people, etc. So but it's not 400. No, that's wrong. And it's way more than just shakes, for example. And see, they're not shakes like any shake you've ever seen on the planet. So, I went to, where did I go the other day? I had a sandwich and a cup of coffee at Panera. It was like $15. A Starbucks coffee is, some of those now are what, 7, 8, 9. I don't really drink coffee, but I don't even know. But most people feel that's very, very affordable. So you're probably close, but it's not. It's less than 400. I think it's maybe 370. Well, close, but no cigar, right? But you got to understand, it comes with a 100% money back guarantee. So even if you spent the money, if it doesn't, but what are you going to do that's going to produce this kind of a result? What would it be? And you have to eat, right? So that's probably close, okay? And again, it really depends too, because I guarantee you a 2-year-old is not spending $400 a month on this protocol. A woman 91 years old, she ain't spending $400. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's why I talk to the coaches. It's free. They're not going to try and harass you or sell you anything. Okay? Who else would like to ask me a question? So yeah, Ontario, Canada, margarita, no problem whatsoever. And toffee, I would resend your request and I'll check it. If you do it right after we hang up from this, I'll go and check and see if it showed up. I mean, as far as your request. I'm not saying it never happens, but we're pretty darn good on getting back to people because a lot of people are desperate and they really want a solution, okay? Who else would want to ask me a question? Wow, we're at 1 hour and 24 minutes now. We got 5,400 likes, so would anybody else like to ask me a question? Wow, it's 5:15 on the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time, so give me 30, 45 minutes. I just need to rest my voice. I'll come on and do another one if some of you are coming on late. But you can refer anybody to this podcast, and anybody can go to that website. It's free to go there, free. And the reason that the coaching is important is because, again, they don't know anything about you. Because we have athletes who want to gain weight. Well, obviously, they're doing a different program than someone who wants to lose weight or someone has high blood pressure or blood sugar, etc. But the other thing, like I said, Margarita, thank you. So PK, I hope that somewhere in that ballpark. But I mean, for what this does, it's not even. So what would that be? About $13, 10 would be 300, 14. So it'd be less than $15 a day. Am I correct? But it's 70 meals. So divide the 400 by 70. So what's that a meal? It's like what? A little over $5, like about $5.50 a meal. Can you buy a meal for $5.50? I don't know where you'd buy it. I mean, that's all I can tell you. I mean, the price of food now has gone crazy as far as I live in Denver and I just can't believe it. You go in the store and get a couple, 4 or 5 items and all of a sudden it's $100. So I don't know. A lot of people think this is very, very affordable. So anyway, I'm going to end this now, everybody, and I'll try and come back on in, say, 30 to 45 minutes, which would be 5:30, 5:45 Eastern Standard Time. All right? Bye, everybody.